special, great qualities as far as I can see. I'm just normal, or maybe under normal as far as that goes. And so I just let the Lord do everything.
It's called the Rookey phenomenon, an elderly American priest who draws adoring fans like a rock star. Many of these people are desperately seeking healing, usually physical, but sometimes spiritual. Some believe Father Rookey himself has special powers. Others think he has a unique hotline to God.
Like all of Father Rookey's healing masses, many of these people have travelled for hours to see him, and they're prepared to wait many hours more just to catch a glimpse of him.
Well, I hope if it's God's holy will that I'll be cured. I brought a small child here today into Guinea.
And what do you hope is going to happen?
I hope that he cure him of the fear he has.
My husband had cancer and he found it very good when he came from the Mass. He found he was very healed spiritually. He didn't cure him, but like he doesn't cure everyone. You know?
And how is your husband now?
My husband died. He's died, yeah. But like I feel now I'm going to get something from him by coming here, you know, spiritually.
And I saw with my own two eyes a crippled man who had been cured through this priest's prayers, through his prayers.
Are you hoping for a physical cure?
Well, I'd love a physical cure, but I can't say that that will happen. But just that I'll be able to cope and he'll be able to cope in later years with the illness he has.
The uncle's down there with a blind kid trying to get in, trying to get healed. There's no way of getting in. Even the nuns at the St. John's Ambulance and nothing's getting in. Nobody getting in.
Father Rookey is about to arrive, and these people are the lucky ones. This church holds 1,500 people and could have been filled many times over. Father Rookey says that he himself doesn't have special powers, but talk to any of these people and he's the miracle man.
Whereby the lame walk and the blind see? Or is it something less supernatural? A good man giving hope where there was none, and raised expectations giving new strength to life.
The Spirit becomes strong with the more praying we do. And that's why when people want to have a private, blessing, I tell them, this is not to be compared to the blessing we receive in the assembly, with the healing, with the Mass and the healing service, with all those thousands of people praying for us. The power is so great and the Spirit is so strong. They feel, that getting, all this individual attention is where the action is. And it's just the opposite. We try to, have as many healing masses as possible because I'm not a young chicken anymore, and I try to, use the time as best I can while I'm alive.
Father Rookey has little time for skeptics.
If the Lord himself didn't, get medical approval of what was going on, and it didn't seem to disturb the evangelists and their accounts either. If you're going to doubt these things, well, you begin to doubt the miracles in the gospel itself. I don't think there's, for believers, that there's too much necessity for all of this documentation. And, well, as I began to say, it's an impossibility anyway.
During his healing services, Father Rookey encourages people to get out of their wheelchairs and walk. On the night we filmed, some members of the congregation believed they were witnessing miracles.
Have you walked before?
So I have, yes, so I have, but not for needed. I have to hold on to somebody,
Have you walked before?
I hold on to the furniture only.
Right. What are you taking away from here tonight? What has this done for you?
Oh, marvellous. Marvellous to be able to walk.
Is this the first time you've walked?
I can walk with the walking frame.
Has she walked before?
No, she walks with help, yes.
Later, Father Rookey laid his hands on the heads of other people and they fell backwards in an apparent faint. This is commonly referred to as resting in the spirit.
What happened to you?
Lights.
And what did you feel?
Just couldn't get up, you know.
And how do you feel now?
It's grand. You feel light.
Lightness.
Yeah, lightness, yeah, that's right. Just total relaxation.
Yeah, all right, feeling all right.
Fine, thank you.
It's as if someone was pulling me down, and when I was on the ground, amazing peace. It was unreal, you know.
But despite the enthusiastic support shown to Father Rookey, headlines such as these show the unease with which his activities are viewed by some members of the hierarchy. And certainly the whole healing phenomenon raises a number of questions.
The crowds of Father Rookey fans have long since departed Whitefriars Street. But since Father Rookey's departure, we've followed up numerous leads to people who sincerely claim to have been cured by the priest. But when we really talk to these people about what changes have actually happened, we find that they fall far short of a miraculous cure.
But what exactly is a miracle cure? Although some people claim to have felt uplifted by their contact with Father Rookey, and many more say they've derived spiritual comfort, the Church sets down extremely strict guidelines as to what constitutes a miracle cure and what doesn't. Dr. Diarmuid Murray is head of the Knock Medical Bureau, which was set up by the Catholic Church to investigate alleged cures in Knock.
Well, before a cure will be considered, the three most important criteria is that the cure must be immediate, it must be complete, and it must also be maintained. We have to set very high standards before we will get involved in the very long and tortuous process of investigating a claimant's cure.
And Dr. Murray says there's a logical explanation for what happens at sessions held by Father Rookey and other healers, be they religious or secular.
If you consider how these people go, they're already going with raised expectations of something that's going to happen to them. They invariably have very good reasons to go. They are suffering from some kind of serious illness or disability, and they believe this man or these people have the capacity to cure them or to at least help them. So you could say that they're already 90% along the road. So when they arrive there at the destination, and indeed the longer and the further they come to get there, and the longer they have to wait, the greater the expectation. Therefore, that makes the therapist's job all that much easier. Well done. The question of the phenomena that these therapists produce, I would feel are explicable through the modern phenomena we call hypnosis. So many of these things are reproducible through hypnosis.
Dr. Murray, who has trained in hypnotism, says people with strong personalities can hypnotize others without realizing they are doing so.
Well, I think there is it's possibly working at a subconscious or an unconscious level with these people, that when the therapist comes up and touches them, that they feel that they have to fall. You merely have to get one individual to fall to reinforce the belief on all the others who are observing and watching. And you'll find that if he does it to one, it'll have a kind of domino effect on the others. And this again is quite a common phenomenon. And it reinforces on all the other people who are standing watching that this therapist has got some very special kind of powers. It doesn't mean that these people are being fooled or in any way. Certainly there's a certain degree of showmanship about it, and that helps reinforce within the individual who is, say, falling or whatever, or experiencing this kind of thing, it also helps reinforce the therapist that they're doing some good. To extrapolate from that and say that these phenomena are going to cure serious organic disease, then I, as an orthodox medical practitioner, would have very serious reservations about that.
But former soccer international David Parks is one man who believes that through Father Rookey, God healed him of Crohn's disease. He says he was completely sceptical when he was blessed by Father Rookey on a trip to Medjugorje a number of years ago.
I said, I'm very ill, and the doctors say there's nothing more they can do for me, and they reckoned it was only a matter of time. So he has a black crucifix, which he reached into his pocket and took out, and he put the crucifix in my hands, and then he put his thumb in a little bowl of oil, and he put the sign of the cross on my forehead, and then he placed both of his hands on my head, and he started to pray. And then I remember him reaching to take the crucifix out of my hand, and then the next thing I remember was lying on my back.
Do you think it was a miracle?
Well, I would have a difficulty saying it's a miracle. I would say it's an incredible healing. I don't think I would be as bold as to say it's a miracle. Everybody else says it's a miracle. But I would just say it's an incredible healing.
But an increasing number of people are now looking outside the church to alternative therapies. The incredible growth in interest in these therapies was very much in evidence at a recent exhibition of alternative healing in the Mansion House.
We've all had the experience of feeling unwell with various aches and pains, and there's always somebody who'll tell you it's all in the mind. Nowadays, people like Joe will tell you it is all in the mind, and it's the body's own energies that are capable of curing us of most of our ills.
But this secular healing comes in unusual forms.
Well, what happens, the person sits down in the chair in front of the beam, and the lady's attracting what she requires from the ampules and the sets of remedies over there. It's beamed into her body through the beam. This thing here helps accentuate it. And the square that's on the floor she's sitting in, or well, her feet are in, I should say, is opening up a field of energy, or a layer of energy on the ground, and taking that energy up, so she'll be feeling certain different sensations.
Reiki, they think, is an ancient Tibetan healing, which the monks would have used for healing, but also for meditation and things like that. It brings people onto another level of consciousness and helps in their own growth, which is also on a spiritual level, physical level, emotional level, and on a mental level. There's no physical energy involved because you're using this cosmic energy, which is actually a subatomic energy.
But perhaps this year's biggest buzzword is plexus bioenergy healing, the gurus of which are Michael O'Doherty and Tom Griffin.
I would safely say that we've probably brought in excess of 200,000 people back to health. We've helped to come back to health. And that would, include like total cure, partial healing, feeling much better. Some people come every 6 months, some people come back every year for top-up. So we've had a chance over the years to gauge the reaction. And what we have found out is that there are many, many more people helped than we realised, because until we meet them in the street or until we talk to some person in the clinic whom they have sent in, we don't always find out about them, But there's a tremendous amount of people helped. It's incredible.
But these cures have not been scientifically evaluated, and it's difficult to
Usually
say
people
whether
have
healing is
problems in
truly
their
physical
spine and
or
their hearing,
psychological. Not all those who go to such therapies come away feeling helped.
That's it for today.
So, did you feel anything, Pam?
I didn't feel the energy that they felt. I didn't feel anything really. I just kind of stood still and I basically nothing. I didn't feel anything myself. I didn't feel anything good or bad.
One man who says bioenergy helped get him back on his feet is Hughie Rice. He was left paralysed after a motorbike accident.
Nothing happened the first day, but the next couple of days things started happening. After the third day of treatment, he got my big toe moving, and he got my nerves, my muscles in my nerves and my legs jumping, and that was a big thing because I was in hospital for such a long time and they got nothing going for me. They gave me electric shocks and nothing was working in my legs. They couldn't get any muscles working. But after 3 days of treatment, he got muscles going.
Were you sceptical about the bioenergy healing before you went?
At the start, yeah. Because when you walk in, all you see is these people moving hands and people stand up, and you go to yourself, what's this here, But once you try it, like, and if you've got to believe in yourself that you're not going to go in here with you've got to go in with a positive mind that's going to happen for you, you know, and you're thinking that it's going to work, like it will work, you know. You've got to believe in that there.
What do you think made you better?
Two combinations. A lot of prayer from family and bioenergy.
It can often be extremely difficult to reach an exact diagnosis of what the patient was suffering from. Strange as it may seem, many patients or claimants have not been suffering from a condition which they thought they did suffer from. And when we investigated, we found that it was perhaps something else, or there was a large psychological element in their illness. So there was. But that often wipes out the vast majority of claimants' miraculous cures.
Einstein concluded that, you know, everything is energy, and beyond that is supreme intelligence, and you know, we know that everything we do incorporates energy. So this energy basically comes from everywhere. It's around us, it's from the universe, it's from the earth, and by getting this energy vibrating through the body properly, this can reactivate the body's own potential to heal itself.
When you talk about a supreme intelligence, do you mean God?
If you want to call it God, yes, that's fine. Sacred dimension of the universe, God, universal force. There are many different terms you can put on it.
Usually people come in when a lot of other things have failed, so they come with a lot of negativity. And as I say, they say to us, you're the last hope, you know. So, well, first of all, we have to explain to them that the body is composed of energy. It has an energy dimension, or we simplify and call it an electrical dimension. We say you have a bioelectric system. There's electrical current running through your body, and it does affect your organs and your nervous system, your immune system. And we explain to them that this gives off a resonating field, like electromagnetic field. And we can actually pick up on this field where this electricity is blocked. And where it is blocked is usually where people are suffering pain or inflammation or some type of a disease. Now also an important point about this is that the disturbance doesn't have to be always physical. A person can have an emotional blockage. They can have some trauma in their life. And that's what's causing the physical problems. We help them become aware of this particular part through working with the energy. They may feel a tingling, a heat or cold, and usually people feel a sense of relief or a sense of like calmness coming over. So a lot of people will actually feel the interaction taking place.
But is it possible for orthodox medical doctors to reproduce some similar sensations, such as heat and cold, in their own patients?
Yes, that is quite easy to do. Indeed, if you look back at some of the old historical records, people will talk about a feeling of insects running up and down their skin. So it's the same kind of phenomenon. People can experience quite extraordinary sensations, and it's perfectly reproducible by hypnosis. I wouldn't think that the therapists would set out to give people a false sense of hope. I've looked at a lot of these alternative therapies, and they're extremely attractive to the lay person who hasn't got any scientific or medical training. But it strikes me that when you're dealing with very complex problems, which a lot of these kind of diseases, chronic diseases are, such as cancer, diabetes, epilepsy, the rheumatoid diseases, arthritis, that it is very easy to think, this is wonderful, this is a simple kind of therapy, and this is going to cure these conditions. But of course we know from life's experience that complex problems require very complex answers.
If Father Rookey dies, that it sort of dies with him. You know, I think that we have to try and get away from the idea that healing is outside us and that somebody outside there can heal us. Tom and I don't heal people, and there is no individual or drug can heal somebody. What we do is we apply a system that activates the healing ability within every one of us. So if we were to depend on somebody to heal us and they do die, well then we have lost everything.
But like Father Rookey, O'Doherty and Griffin have also experienced clients apparently fainting during therapy sessions.
It often happens in our clinics as well, that when you touch somebody, that what you're actually doing is you're fusing the energies, and for a quick moment, you know, you're de-earthing the body. It's like, you know, you're getting an extra bolt of energy or electrical current coming through your body, and your body just jerks back. And this often happens in our clinic as well.
And have you had people fall over backwards on the floor?
Yeah, we often just even had to stand alongside people, and they would just drop. I mean, for often no apparent reason. You often think, well, what is all this about? And then we began to try and work into to get a little understanding on it. And so we have found that working with the energies in the way we do, that people move as well. So we have found a way of controlling it through the plexus bioenergy system in a way. So this may offer a little understanding to people as to actually what happens.
Can people be healed at a distance from you?
Oh, it happens every day. In fact, sometimes we pray with people on the telephone and they rest in the spirit, way over in another part of the country or even overseas, The Lord's power is not limited in any way.
In the overwhelming majority of cases, they can be reasonably explained by modern medical science. It's for that reason that the Medical Bureau in Knock set down a minimum kind of time before we begin to start serious investigations for claims for miracle cures of at least 5 years. Having said that, it is very possible that the claimant could have died by the time the church would declare the cure to have been miraculous.
Some of my priestly brothers and so on, and kind of critical persons, asked, do you follow up on all of these, these healings? And I said, brother, I wish I had $1 billion to set up an office to document all of these things. I said, that's not for the, that's not, I'm sure, what the Lord is looking for. He's looking for conversion of heart. And if you don't believe my word, believe my works. And if the end result is accomplished, what need is there of a whole lot of documentation?
We have to try and get people away from this fixed attitude of physical body, one dimension. We've got to help them to realize that sickness is a physical reflection of how we have detached ourselves from ourselves, how we have separated ourselves from nature, separated ourselves from God. And until such time as we take back that control responsibility, until such time as we reconnect ourselves and understand that interconnectedness, people will continue to be sick.
The institutional setup can sometimes hold people back, and it can limit them. They don't feel fulfilled. They don't feel they're getting meaning out of it. A lot of it is become ritualized. They feel that they're not getting the full value out of it, and they look outside for meaning for their lives. And I think that's why they're turning to other things. But having said that, I think that it's good that people have more choice within themselves. I don't think people should stop searching. I don't think they should stop looking, and not be afraid to take the risk in that search either. I think that's how we learn.
Science doesn't have all the answers, but I've no doubt that with the way scientists keep asking questions and keep investigating, we eventually do come to the answers. So we do. We may not have the answers at this time, but maybe in 5 or 10 years down the road, we may well have the answers.
Few doubt the sincerity of lay healers like O'Doherty and Griffin, or religious healers like Father Rookey. These healers would strongly deny using anything like hypnosis. But whether the source of their healing is psychologically induced, God decreed, or through some other source is unclear. But perhaps for those who genuinely believe they have been healed, how it happened is unimportant.
I give you my entire self, Lord Jesus.
I give you my entire self, Lord Jesus.
Now and forever.
Now and forever.
I invite you into my life, Jesus.
I invite you into my life, Jesus.
I accept you.
I accept
as my Lord, my God, and my Savior. And thank you for coming. God bless you.
Next on Would You Believe? This Christmas, lasting peace in Northern Ireland? That's Wednesday at 8.